Greetings, flesh creatures. It is I, Megatron. On behalf of TFYLP, I want to congratulate you for listening to the most refined collective podcast on this miserable little planet Earth. Yes. Here you'll find knowledgeable fans discussing every aspect of Transformers and beyond. Now, enjoy the show while I continue my path to complete conquest of all of you miserable biological entities. Predacons, terrorize!
Hi, welcome to TFYLP, episode 555. We are live tonight. It is Tuesday, November 21st. I'm Lucas, and I am joined tonight by Anna.
Good evening.
And Rob. Rob, you there?
Oh, whoops. I muted when I thought I was unmuting. Hello.
Can you also move over just slightly? So the camera, like we have the three
I got you.
things tonight because we don't have a fourth.
3 cutter.
Is that better?
Yeah. So we tried to get a fourth, but apparently other people had plans for this week. Guess there's holidays coming up or something. I don't know.
Yeah, it's remarkable to me as a professor just hearing how many people have already started their Thanksgiving plans, right? Like even when I was in school, I waited till Thursday to see family for sure. So,
well, you got to get ready, right? So if you're hosting, you have to get ready for that. If you're traveling somewhere, you got to, maybe, I don't know, I guess some people probably plan out the travel and what they're taking and whatnot. So, and then you have to go to the store, get all your, plan your menu. I mean, it's a lot of overhead.
Just go to McDonald's. Easy peasy.
that sounds right. Yeah. I've heard it's popular to get a turkey from Popeyes. I've heard that's a cool thing to do.
That's a thing?
Yeah.
They have turkeys?
It's a really popular thing. They have turkeys.
Oh.
They do them in their same seasoning as they do their other stuff.
Don't you?
Yeah, it usually sells out before Thanksgiving.
You know what? Actually, we may be doing something kind of similar to that. My wife got a turkey from Hattie B's today, and she ordered it weeks back and went and picked it up today. And Hattie B's is some sort of hot chicken chain. I don't know how far they extend past Nashville, but
I think that it's mainly in Nashville. I don't know. I haven't heard of it other places. I know there's a Memphis chicken place that expanded into Kansas City. What was that place called, Anna?
I don't think I know.
We went there. You don't remember?
We did?
The hot chicken place. Remember we went there we had a Transformers meetup.
Yeah, that was 5 years ago. I don't remember that far back anymore, apparently.
I have to look it up now.
Has to.
So, but
I just don't remember what it was called. I do remember going.
I have to look it up here. Gosh darn it. I can't remember. But so, I know Nashville hot chicken has kind of been
it's a thing.
It's a thing now, right? Everyone has their Nashville hot chicken. But what's your thoughts, Rob, since you live right there?
Like a lot of people, if you live at the city, you don't know anything about the city, because you don't think to visit there. That being said, we have eaten at Hattie B's several times at this point. We really like Hattie B's. But the other ones, there's Prince's is one, and there's another one that I'm blanked on the name of that a few years back we had ate from once or twice. And there may be another place or two even past that. I mean, on the one hand, it's just hot chicken,
right.
But it's good. I mean, we like it. It's good.
Well, the thing I like about Hattie B's is can't you essentially custom order how hot you want it?
I think you can do that at pretty much all of them. You can say, give me mild or medium, or whatever it is.
Right.
But honestly, I feel like it's just if you like Thai food, and you say how spicy you want your Thai food, it's very inconsistent in my opinion. At least in my experience, both with Thai places and with hot chicken places. Some days you'll get medium, or 3 out of 5 stars, and it'll be like, oh, this is totally fine. I want to bump it up a notch. And then other times that'll floor you, and you're like, oh my god, this is way too much. So it's just, they're not consistent either way, but it's always good if you like spicy stuff. If you don't like spicy stuff, then obviously we're talking about hot chicken. So
right. So Gus's fried chicken was the place that I was.
That's where we went. Okay. Yeah, I super do not remember that name.
Yeah.
We could have talked for like 3 hours, and I still would have been like, "Oh, I don't."
So
I
guess it was a forgettable place, huh?
I don't really like Nashville hot chicken in the first place, so I don't really like that style of hot sauce.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know if I would consider it a style of hot sauce, but you know what? I may have to have them all next to each other to tell. Is there like a theme on them, or is it just?
Is it a style of cooking? Because like it always seems greasier than other hot chickens.
So
I think
Gus's
it's probably going to depend where you get it.
Memphis chicken, which is a little bit different. Now the Nashville one, but I do feel like, Rob, it's like a specific flavor, I guess, profile that's I don't know.
It just tastes like.
It's not my favorite.
It just tastes like spicy chicken to me. At least I've never thought Hattie B's to be greasy. At least not overly so, but
Well, I mean,
some people are more sensitive to that, right? But some people are more sensitive to that, right? Like some people get pizza and they're like, "Oh, this is great," and other people are like, "Oh, it's disgusting. I have to sop it with paper towels before I can even think of eating it." Right. So just different levels for different people. But yeah, we're gonna have hot Hattie B's turkey at least, so that'll be interesting.
That's like fun though. I've always wanted to try the one in Popeyes, but we always travel.
Yeah, I feel like we've kind of went around like where we did the smoked turkey and the fried turkey and all that, and we're just kind of back to just regular normal turkey.
All right, real talk. Turkey's pretty meh.
Oh,
in general.
Oh, I dislike turkey greatly. I don't like turkey at all.
I mean, I like sliced turkey on sandwiches. And I don't mind turkey. The dark meat is obviously better than the white meat.
Right.
White meat, it's really hard for it not to be dry. And even when it's not dry, it's still just it's okay. It's fine. But we generally do ham when it comes to Thanksgiving, just because ham is infinitely better, and you'll get that big thing of ham, and for what's worth, you'll eat it for like 2 weeks, right? You'll have a bunch of sandwiches and biscuits out of it and everything. Whereas with turkey, it's hard to eat it past a couple of days because it's just so freaking boring.
But so if you do ham for Thanksgiving, do you do ham for Christmas or
just
skip? Okay, just ham for ham for Easter as well. Just
we don't
ham.
Generally during around the Christmas time is when we do it. But lots of times we don't do much for Thanksgiving either. We'll get together with my sister and that's about it.
Yeah.
It's not a big holiday to us, but
Right.
If we can get together, we'll do stuff, and just whoever brings stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. And lots of times for Christmas we travel to our in-laws, so lots of times we won't even actually get food for Christmas because the day after Christmas we're going to be driving, if not sooner. But then we make New Year's food instead. But that's not ham either. That's more like snacky type stuff. But
Zaldran has a good idea. Turn your turkey into white chili.
Oh yeah.
I don't know what that is.
You don't know what white chili is?
Not white chili. I don't know what did that mean compared to normal chili.
I mean, you just put it with like navy beans, I guess, instead of like chili beans.
Oh. And not selling me on it. That's okay.
There's also not tomatoes in the sauce, right? It's just like a broth, not tomatoes.
Is really selling it then.
Yeah. Come have my lukewarm water. It's got flavorless beans in it and turkey.
I don't know. I'm sure you can look it up.
You'll love it.
I'm sure you can look it up. I don't know.
Every time I've had it, it's good.
With like verde sauce or something like that kind of thing. But
here on our food
podcast. Right, exactly. Our food podcast here. So
we're just people who don't know special cooking skills talking about food. Very fantastic. This is what you
Right.
tune in for.
And
Absolutely.
we know as much about food as we do about Transformers.
Oh, harsh.
I heard that I didn't miss out too much on the food at TFcon this year, that the restaurants around there were not quite as good as, like, you know, obviously when you go to Chicago, it, like, every place is amazing, right? But I heard the Florida joints were not quite as good.
We went to this Italian place the last night. It was freaking amazing.
Oh,
Like, straight up, like, we sit down and I grew up in a trailer in the sticks, you know, so I am very, like, a frugal person when it comes to stuff like that. Like, when it comes to spending food, like, I mean, like, yeah, I can spend it, whatever, but it always weirds me out if a sit down restaurant's more than like $15 for the entire thing. I'm just like, I notice, right? So this place was like $30 entrees or whatever, you know, like, oh, it's not going to break the bank, right? I'm at a freaking toy convention. Obviously got money to set on fire. But it was, once the food came, I was like, oh, I get it. Like, and it was worth it. And I mean, it wasn't like a hoity-toity place by any means. You know, it was a little nicer, but, you know, we were fine in our t-shirts and whatever. But it was super good. I don't remember the name of it. Peter probably does, because he's in the area. But super good. The other stuff was just fine. You know.
there you go. Well, so tonight's topic, we're actually supposed to be talking about the Transformer sales, and I'm sure that you know, probably half the people watching are already in the Discord, and you guys probably all have been talking about it all week already. I know I'm a little disappointed because so Pulse put up their sale early. I guess, was it yesterday or the day before? I think it was yesterday, right?
I would.
Yesterday.
Yeah, so they put it up yesterday, and I'm a little disappointed because they already have quite a few items of Transformers that are already sold out. And I know originally when they put it up, they had the Robosen figures, which I thought was a little bit tempting, and I guess they're no longer on.
Are they
as part of the
gone?
sale. Yeah, well, I don't know that they're gone, but they're no longer part of the sale.
Aww.
So I don't know what that means. But like, cause they had the Prime on, and like I was talking to you and Christian about it, right? And like,
Yeah.
it was actually at a price that I was maybe willing to splurge on. I think that, like, they reduced the price, so it was the Elite one, which was the smaller one. They reduced the price to $500, and then it was 35% off that. So I think you could have gotten it for like $350, which,
Oh, wow.
I think that's like kind of getting to the level of, you know, I might actually be willing to pay that much. But as I told, I was telling Christian and Anna, it's like, I feel like with all that kind of stuff, like, it's cool, like, you get it in and you mess with it for a little bit, and then you're just like, okay, whatever, who cares? And like, you just put it on your shelf and never do anything with it again. And I don't feel
Isn't that our entire collection?
Right. Well,
But the other ones generally don't cost that much money and take up that much space.
And as Christian said, it's entirely a flex piece, right? Like, you bring your friends over and you show it off, right? You show it off to anyone who might find it amusing.
The normies.
And you go, wow, isn't this so cool that I have a self-transforming Optimus Prime I can talk to? And, like, you aren't impressed by it after 30 minutes. Your spouse was never impressed with it. Your animals are always scared of it. So it really doesn't have a whole lot of lasting value other than every time you invite a friend over to annoy them with it, except you'll probably forget it's in your closet after about 3 months. Because that guy can't even be displayed, right? Like, he won't stand up in robot mode unless he's powered on. So you have to put him back in the box. Are you going to live in his box and be sad? I'll admit the Grimlock got under $1,000, and that made me realize how gross the price sounded.
right.
I really like the look of that Grimlock, right? Like, it's a very pretty figure, or a very pretty device. It's cool. I like it. Like, it's a lot more impressive to me than the Prime is. The Prime was always just like the generic Robosen transforming robot with Optimus Prime built into it. I know that they had to rebuild the whole thing to make it a truck instead of a space rover looking car thing, but still it didn't feel enough specifically Optimus Prime. Like Grimlock feels like a ground up dinosaur that transforms into a robot man. And it's reflected in the $1,500 price, right? Like that is an enormous price tag.
Well, I'm trying to figure out.
But
too,
yeah, I just checked and they're gone.
The Robeson, like that trailer only goes with the first edition that they sent, and like, is that even? I'm assuming it's still for sale. I'm sure you could probably get it. But it's weird because then they released a new version, and the trailer is too big for that because the new one is smaller. So I don't know. I mean, outside of a handful of crazy people, it's like, why would you get that trailer? I don't know. But anyway.
I saw people sharing around that the Robeson sells, but I felt like people aren't sharing it in a, well, hey guys, look at this good deal you can have. They sell it as hey, look at this stupid thing. Look at them. They're trying to offload it because it's like they're trying to use it as like to prove a point that they were right and not buying it or something like that. Whereas most people share sales and it's like they're like, oh look, here's this cool thing. You can finally pick this up now. I feel like people on that are just doing it because they hated the product to begin with. And I say that as somebody that doesn't have any Robeson products and has no intention of ever having them. To be clear, I'm not like offended by it or whatever. Just I just feel like
so I searched
the
Robeson
fandom doesn't care.
I searched Robeson on Pulse, and they do not have the big Optimus. They only have the small one. So you can buy the trailer from them for $750, but they don't have the Optimus to go with it. You'll have to find that elsewhere, which is kind of funny.
So,
but I agree with you, Rob. Like it's not really for us, right? These were for people who want fancy big things to show off. That version of that for us was Unicron, right? That's our big like we're going to spend too much money on a toy. We didn't want a self-transforming electronic amusement device. We wanted the fanciest transformer possible, which Unicron isn't really that, but it is for the loyalists of the Hasbro.
Yeah. Now, one of my friends has, a normie friend that bought it, and it's just, I believe Paul had even, commented that that's, back when this thing was announced, like that's who's buying it more. It's oddly enough, because I have normies come up to me like, oh, did you buy that self-transform? I'm like, hell no. It's just not up my alley. I mean, there's definitely hardcore fans that love it too, right? Sure. But, and then the one normie, it's a friend of a friend that bought it, was like trying to get rid of it. Because they bought it because they thought it was so cool, and they remember Transformers when they were a kid, and they had that Robeson when they were a kid, right? They totally did. And so, they get it and they're bored with it, and they're like, oh geez, why did I spend $700 on this or whatever the hell it costs? Yeah. And trying to get rid of it.
Well, yeah, and that's neat. That was the thing too that I don't know, whenever it was several years ago, they had those Sphero made those like little droids you could get at Target. Like they had a BB-8 and an R2D2 that you could get, like little smaller one, or I don't know, whatever. They're like maybe like 6 inches or 8 inches or something like that, right?
Yeah.
And I think they were like $150 at the time or something like that. And so I ended up getting like both of those. Like I think I ended up getting sales or what, like when Target had their like, whatever off sale. And it was one of those things where it was like fun with the kids for like a little bit, and then you're like, okay, I'm done, and so that's why I kind of figured this is kind of the same way where, you play with it for a month and then you're like, all right, time to put it back in the closet.
And I think it's totally fine to buy stuff knowing that you're not going to keep it forever. You buy it, enjoy it, and then resell it. But a Robeson is a really expensive to rent. Right. It's different from buying a $50 toy that you can probably sell for $50 later or $40, right? You got your $10 out of it, whatever. It's a lot harder to do with a Robeson.
I agree with that. Yeah, it's a high risk. Plus, we have no idea how long these products are going to last, right? Like, is it going to be something that will fall apart after 3 years? Who knows?
Yeah.
Only
Right.
time
And
will
then like
tell.
is the app going to be supported continue to be supported too? Like that's another thing you worry about. So,
Yeah.
So
but
anyway, Pulse has
We
35% off.
you went mute there for a second, Anna, but now you're back.
Oh, I was just talking. I said Pulse has a sale. It's 35% off. It's there. There's some products on it.
so it's 25% if you're a non-Pulse member.
If you're not a premium, that's
a
true.
non-premium or
If
whatever.
you're not premium, it's 25. If you are premium, it's 35.
Yeah. Because I
That's
actually
true.
saw some people on TFW trying to hit other people up to like, hey, could you order this for me? Like, I'm like,
Give me my 10%. Yeah.
absolutely not. There is no way in hell that I'm gonna order something for some rando on TFW or whatever just so they could get an extra 10%. So it's like, you know, splurge on that $50 membership there, bud.
It'll be all right.
Yeah, I'm a little disappointed, and I feel like a lot of times, too, like I think you have to spend $75 to get the discount.
You do.
And so like one of the ones is like, oh man, I'm gonna go ahead and get that Armada Megatron, and it's sold out already. So it's like, oh,
Real quick, yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah, I
yeah,
was thinking
there's
about
a
just
few
buying.
figures that.
And that's the thing. The whole purpose, we're going to say this multiple times during the show. The whole purpose of all these sales is to get you to buy things you didn't actually want and that you wouldn't
Right.
pay full price for. So it's like the one thing I was thinking about doing was just buying up all the core figures. Because I haven't been buying the like main character core figures, like the Starscream and the Soundwave and the Optimus and all those. But those are the best toys out of the core figures, right? Those are really good small toys. And you all know I like really good small toys. So I would enjoy them. Will they add anything to my collection? My other toys don't. No, they will not. So, I picked out $80 worth of core figures. And I was like, am I going to pull the trigger on this? And then that way sold out. So I couldn't break $75 anymore. So I can't even ask the question. But yeah, it's just always trying to get you to buy things that you didn't really want. There are a few higher ticket things that are still on there. Like one of the train bots is on there. The Amber.
At least one of them is sold out. I don't know if they had two on there, but one of them is sold out.
Oh, good. It's sold out. Okay. Well, there was one, and now there's zero.
It looks like Sukin is sold out here, but on was it TF Source or Ages 3 and Up? I think it was TF Source, yeah. Shuki is still in stock, I believe. Or maybe that was A3U. Something like that. But they're on sale at other places is what I'm getting at, even if it's not there at Pulse.
Yeah.
Depending on which one you're looking for.
Yeah, I feel like that the train bots are probably like a good candidate for sales.
The train bots and the Black Lyo Convoy are the ones that are a pretty good sell if you wanted that thing.
Yeah. Well, that was the thing. Like, there was a handful of figures I was kind of waiting, and I don't feel like Pulse maybe had all of them. Like, I was gonna get that one. I was gonna get the what's the one that Anna, the Shadow Striker, I think. You enjoyed. I was like, I was gonna look for that, but I don't know if she was on there or not. But then whatever the like Black Leo Prime, I was gonna see if that was on there, and I didn't see it on there at least.
The Masterpiece one.
Right. Yeah. So I did see. I think Amazon is offering a buy two get one free. And they have some Transformers included in that sale as well. Again, I was kind of like on the fence on some of the stuff. And then I know, I think Ages 3 and Up has a buy one, get one half off.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that one looks like it's actually pretty good. I think they also have Hot Toys too, right? About BOGO on.
They have stuff for Hasbro, Hot Toys, Super 7, and Motu. And then, each one of those brands just has a batch of buy one, get one 50%.
There you go, Anna. There's your Super 7.
So I guess if we want to talk about things like an order of lines, we talked about Hasbro deals that are out there. Next is Super 7, right? Super 7 is one of those things, not like Robosen, where it's this like tech toy that you probably shouldn't be spending money on, and then it's a little bit cheaper. But Super 7 is one of those things, at least the Transformers figures, one of those things you shouldn't buy, and then they make them really cheap so that you try to get you to buy them, because the Super 7 Ultimates for Transformers came out really bad. As compared to other Ultimates, as compared to other Transformers options, as compared to Red Series. They're just not very impressive figures.
They are not great.
Big Bad Toy Store has had them on sale. They have a giant Ultimate sale. And then whichever site you said had a buy one, get one, 75% off on the Ultimates figures on Super 7.
A lot of
And
Super
they're
7
probably not
stuff
worth
has
it.
been hitting that deep clearance. And like
It has been. And I remember last year, Entertainment Earth on Black Friday, they put up a crazy Super 7 sale. Right. That was when I got my Super 7 Ultimates Transformers for like $18 each.
nice.
Which is a really, I wanted the two of them. I wanted the Action Masters. I got them, and they're about as good as they're as bad as everyone says they are.
Yeah, I have. Well, there's actually 3 Action Masters. Oh wait, no, sorry, 2 Action Masters and then the Pretender. I got Bludgeon.
Yeah.
Yeah, none of them are great.
Nope.
None. I mean, I paid full price for them. It's whatever. I don't play the wait and maybe it'll go on sale game. Some people do, and I get that. I think you're not wrong in that. Like, the goal of a sale is to get you to buy stuff that you didn't really want in the first place, or that at the very least you were fine living without, right? But there is that like sweet spot there of I would buy that if it's cheaper. Like there's like that narrow window there that I like that, but and I think Super 7 hits that a lot because their stuff is just priced too high. And I'm a big Ninja Turtle collector, so I have a lot of the Ninja Turtle Super 7 stuff. And the early waves hit hard clearance on that like a week or two ago, and everybody's talking like, oh, the sky is falling. I'm never going to order Super 7 again, because we've seen that in Transformers too. Like, I'll wait for it to be at Ross, right?
Right.
And it's like, the second people expect it to be on sale, they just produce a lot less of it. Like, that's not a reliable attitude, People are going to adjust orders and production runs based on that stuff. But anyways, their stuff has always just been too expensive. It's the Ultimates, no matter the brand, is like $55 each, and they're just not that good. They're not worth it. I mean, yeah, I've bought plenty of it at full price, but I mean, I can openly admit that
Right.
Nah.
Well,
at $35, they're much more in line with, I think, consumer expectations once you get it in hand.
I feel like Super 7 in general, like when they started off, and they've been out there like a number of years, I don't feel like the landscape was the same back in the day. Like, Mattel really had, at the time when Super 7, they kind of like made their name doing Motu figures, right? And
Yep.
Mattel had really, like, I think part of it was because Mattel quit making because they had the Motu, what was it, the like fans club or something? I can't remember what it's called.
Yeah, they had the license. There was Matty Collector, which did the Collector Club.
Matty Collector, yeah.
Yeah, but Super 7 had the license to, I don't know if they ever did a fan club. I don't think they did, but they had the license to continue the like classics line and the Castle Grayskull lines.
Right, but like I was saying that like
Bell.
literally Mattel was like, we have no interest in continuing at that time to produce Motu, whatever. Here you go. You can have the license, do your thing, and honestly, that kind of helped like with a resurgence for Masters of the Universe. I feel like that they kind of showed that people continue to have interest. But I think that
it put them on the map too, Super 7 themselves.
Oh,
that's like
right.
really
right.
And they've expanded so much since then. And it was kind of, I think they were a bit bitter when Matty came back and was, because they're like, we built this brand back for you, and then they took the license away and said, you can't make these anymore.
Right.
And they quit doing the lines they were doing anyways, because they were doing they resumed the lines Mattel used to do, which I think also really helped keep them going, because like that line already had collectors,
right,
and they like, we're continuing to do them, they're still coming out, blah blah blah. But yeah, as someone I have some of the Motu stuff and their Ninja Turtle stuff and then their Transformer stuff, you really feel by this point in their life cycle like everything should always just be rock solid awesome, because they're all the exact same thing. right?
Right.
They're just limited. I mean, they're not, the 5 points of articulation stuff. They're more than that, but they're still pretty limited too. Marvel Legends stuff is generally more articulated. I mean, even though Super 7 figures are bigger, but like they never have really like felt like the premium product at the price point they're trying to ask.
Right.
They sculpt in limitations too, right? Like they'll be
Yes.
building the toy and then they'll build it where its shoulder can't move past itself. They'll make it actually impeded by its own. Like the Transformers are really bad about that, where their shoulders are so impeded they can only get like that much movement out of them, and it's a bummer because it's like you hold the figure and you're like, this is supposed to be a really posable figure, and then it's not. It's kind of a bummer.
Yeah.
And a lot of that comes down to Brian of Super 7. Like, he's a little older than us, I think. But, like, that 5 points of articulation style, that's what he grew up with. And that's what he loves. And so, like, he cares more about the sculpt looking correct than articulation. And, it's his company, right? And so that's what he pushes. And I think if he had his way, most of them would never. I don't think he'd ever really see anything that had more than 5 points of articulation. He just likes the detailed sculpts. You know what I mean? Your company, you should run it how you see fit and run it how you're passionate about it, right? But I think that's ultimately why they're all like that.
But so I was gonna say though is I feel like that the action figure collectible landscape was different. Like even when they're planning a lot of these things out, where I don't feel like that the toy companies were really focused on collectors as much back then. And now it's just, since COVID and all that kind of thing, like, I feel like there's been a dramatic shift in toy companies, Hasbro included, and Mattel both, where really the focus is more on collectors. Like, I think it's more that they're more focused on us than they are on kids at this point. Or it's 50-50 kind of thing. And
depending on the line.
Yeah.
I think they finally have realized that these are the collector lines, these are the kids lines, and yeah, I think they differentiate that a lot more these days.
Right.
I think the super. Go ahead. I was just gonna say the Super 7 Transformers, I feel like really got shot in the foot by these guys, by the red figures.
Yeah.
I think the fact that the red figures made it out first and then the Super 7 figures came waltzing onto the scene, costing more than 2 times as much as these guys. And these guys, like, the Starscream and the Bumblebee sculpts are a little odd, but they're good toys. They're good, solid Hasbro 6-inch figures, right? They're what you expect if you buy the Power Rangers Lightning series, or if you buy Black series, or if you buy G.I. Joe Classified. They're fine. They're totally fine for what they are. And the Super 7 figures are just actually worse than these. And that's just a bummer. Like, it's not as good of a toy. The sculpt is better. The sculpt is better on those. The paint probably not better. But this is a better toy. This is a better product, honestly. The problem with these being, of course, that they're all the same size. So he's the same height as Optimus, and that's ridiculous. But, whatever. I think these kind of got him.
I just always still feel a little bad for Super 7. I feel like, while I will criticize the final product they put out, on various lines, at the same time, I do feel like they've gotten kind of pooped on by the industry. Because, like, again, they kind of, brought Motu back and kept it going. And then Mattel's like, we're just going to take it back. It's getting too popular now. And then they get their Transformers license. They're putting it out there. And what does Hasbro do? Undercuts them right at the start.
Right.
And then they got their Ninja Turtle toys, which their Ultimates line was doing really well for a long time. And then recently Playmates said, nope, we're tired of you doing stuff that we did. And they can no longer get approval for the Playmates stuff. They have to prove that it came from other places to be able to make the toys anymore, which everyone that's buying the Playmates Ninja Turtle stuff, the Super 7 Ninja Turtle stuff, is doing it for the Playmates homages. For the toys we knew as a kid. And that's why, like, they stopped having the weapon racks. Like, they were told, nope, you can't do that anymore. And now they just, all the deep cuts that Super 7 used to do, which is, I think, one of their strong suits, is they do the deep cuts from the beginning. They just can't do them anymore because those characters only had like that one weird expensive toy back in the 80s or early 90s, and they wasn't in any other fiction, so they don't have anywhere else to draw from, so they can't do the figure anymore. So they just
that sucks.
Like the properties I follow them in, I've seen them get kind of shafted along the way every time, and it's just a bummer. Like maybe if their prices were better and their quality was better, they would have more sway, but maybe the licensors are also getting annoyed with that too, and it's just like, you know what, no, we're gonna let you be bullied a little bit. I don't know.
Well, I mean, they're a small company, so it's not like you know, when the license holder says, oh, it has to be this way, they just say, all right, thank you, and I'll take another, type of thing. So
now, all that being said, I want to give them another chance. I do want to try Super 7 again. I really want to get one of the G.I. Joe figures. Those look really cool as a cartoon accurate look for G.I. Joe characters. Classified is fun and all, but Classified, especially the first set of figures, were kind of grittied up and kind of modernized, whereas the Super 7 Ultimate G.I. Joes are just like straight cartoon cells of the characters. So they look neat. I'll probably get one and be disappointed in it. They're already on some of the cells, so
yeah,
we'll see. I might like it. I might love it. I might like it a lot more as a human, because they're not going to have that shoulders running into their head issue the Transformers do that make them not move very well. So maybe I'll like it better. Multiple faces. That's always something I enjoy. It's something they do with the G.I. Joes. So, but there's multiple places. Big Bad Toy Store has pretty much all Super 7 stuff on sale. Whichever one you were talking about before has the buy one get one 75% off.
Yeah,
I can never keep that place separate from Toy Dojo. To me, for some reason, they sound the same, so I can't keep them apart.
Now, do you just say that because they always share a booth at TFcon? And so, like, one side is Aegis 3 and Up, the other one is Toy Dojo, so...
Probably. That's probably where it came from.
If you think about it, so one is in Canada, and the other one is in Austin, Texas. So,
not exactly next door.
Yeah.
There's some distance.
I think they are friends, though, so...
They do seem to be.
Yeah. So,
but yeah, there's places to get the Super 7 figures if you want them. They're probably a mistake. The end.
Ron was bringing up a point, we were talking about, like I was talking earlier about some of the ones I was hoping to be on sale to catch it. And one of the big ones with that was the Nemesis, right? That, we had pretty much told Christian and you and all that, like, oh, hey, just wait for Black Friday. Like, these Titan figures always go on sale. And I think you could probably actually find some of, like, the Arc and, like, even that Metroplex still, I think, for, like, a pretty heavy discount these days. But he was saying the Nemesis, I guess, like, is there no place with it on sale right now?
It's hard to even find it for sale at the moment.
Wow.
Yeah, I felt like it was a pretty hot commodity at TFcon this year, I felt like. And I didn't see a lot of them. And I think when I saw it, I noticed the price was more than retail, but I also didn't look that hard. I could be wrong.
Well, I know Oh, sorry.
They might just not have made many, or possibly it's really popular. I doubt that second one, though.
I mean, I think it's always a case of they adjust production to try to meet interest, right? And so people's like, oh, that was just a shelf warmer, but that doesn't mean they didn't actually sell a lot more of that than whatever you're comparing it to. Like we have to know production runs and sales to actually accurately judge any of that. But it's funny, stuff like that people are trying to, it's hard to find or whatever, and then it shows up at Ross anyways. Like I got Cosmos that a friend of ours picked up at Ross, and he's like, here, you can have it. Because he got it for like $9 or whatever, and I was like, let me pay you at least tonight. He's like, nope. But it's funny how that works out. So like you'd see Cosmos there, you would think, oh, it sold poorly. It's like, no, it just didn't get distributed well.
Yeah.
And just
Well, yeah, and that could honestly happen next year with the Nemesis. Like, you never know. Although that one's a little bit harder for people to hang on to or whatever. But yeah, I don't know. Like, I know back in the day, I feel like the Titans kind of did this too, where like they way overproduced like Fort Max back in the day, and I'm trying to remember.
Well, that was after they way produced him after they had made, or like after Metroplex, the first G1 Metroplex did extremely well,
Right.
from everything we can tell. And so then like, oh cool, and they made a bunch of Fort Max. For some reason they made way too many. We don't know, was it less popular or just did they just make that too many? But now Fort Max is getting a reissue even still. So like, hell if I know, man.
But yeah, I don't know, like the Devastator was one where I felt like came after that, and I felt like that was somewhat hard to find. I mean, it wasn't hard to find, but it wasn't one where it was on clearance. Because I think the Triptychon was, definitely went on clearance. Fort Max did. But I can't remember if Predaking, I think, maybe. But I know the Devastator one definitely was one where it, like they didn't seem like they produced as many as, Fort Max and such. And then combined with Devastator's a pretty, popular character as well.
Very popular, yeah. So. I'm sure the Nemesis will crop back up. And it probably won't be full price. We'll probably see it again for 20% off somewhere someday. I'm just going to be patient, wait for it. I don't want to pay full price for it.
Well, I think Christian, didn't he already get his on some type of sale, 20% off?
Yeah, there was a decent sale. There was a small sale not too long ago somewhere, and he picked it up at that point.
Yeah. So
I do want one. I'm just gonna be patient.
But I will say, so I was perusing through the Ages 3 and Up sale, and there was some older figures on there. I was like, oh hey, look at that, some third party figures and whatnot. So
like I said, there's that sweet spot of I had interest in that, but the price was enough to make me easily dismiss it. Provided again, space is my bigger concern a lot of times these days. It's just, well, if I'm going to buy it, I need to make sure I have a spot for it. There's a couple things that in that vein are a little tempting to me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know I looked at TF Source earlier, and they had a lot of older third-party stuff. They're doing a different sale every day. So they'll have a different sale every day. Their sales always vary from figures that were really overpriced being marked down to normal price. Like their New Age Omega Supreme is marked down from $300 to $200.
I was looking at that and I was like, oh cool, that one's on sale. And I was like, oh, it's still $200.
Right.
Still not enough.
And you could have got it for that much at some of the other sellers before. But then they have some older stuff, like the X-Trans bought some Cliff Jumper mold in all the colors. They have that for, you don't want that toy, but it's there.
If the Rook colorway was on sale, I would have bought it if it was in that list. Or at least I would have thought about it. But yeah.
But yeah, that's what a bunch of those Legends figures. I think there was was it the Magic Square Optimus Prime or New Age? One of the ones where it was on sale, but it was still $100 and some odd bucks, and I was like, I don't know if it's really that's the sale price, huh?
Magic Square Optimus 2.0 is $100 on sale.
Yeah, that still seems crazy to me for a Legends figure.
But because of the trailer, so the value at this point. But it's just crazy, because Lucas and I were there when Legends was first picking up, right? We were buying the figures and messing with them, and an Optimus at that point was running $60 for an Optimus with the cab and the trailer and all the trimming. And nowadays, when they make a Legends Optimus, it's over $100. The price of Legends has just gone up. The price of Legends has gone up significantly. So whatever you can find on a sell. There's some really good prices on Iron Factory figures on TF Source right now, for instance. If you want any of those, They're mostly oddball repaints, but they're there.
They exist if you hate yourself enough to buy it. That's pretty much what you just said.
Well, I mean, it's like, okay, so their Cliff Jumper figure always looked really cool to me, right? They called him Army of One. He came with a bunch of weapons. He looks like a tough guy, but it's the blue version of him. He's just blue. It's very much Cliff Jumper, not anyone else. He's blue. Like, do you want that? Sure. It's there. It's on sale. You can buy it. Do I want that? Not really. If I was going to get angry multi-gun Cliff Jumper, I want it to be red.
Yeah, I was thinking about the it's on TF Source, the blue X Transbots Trailbreaker. Just because I've always liked that toy, that mold, but I got rid of my X Transbots ones because the official ones are coming out. You know, it's more cartoon accurate. I actually think the X Transbots toy is much more significant, or substantial. That's the word. Like in hand, you know, the Takara one's really light. I mean, it's a good toy. I like it. It's not too bad to transform, and it looks great. But you know, it's all plastic. There's like no die cast in the thing at all. But yeah, like the weird repaints are kind of good to get. Like, hey, I want that toy again. But you know, even then, still, even on sale at TF Source, it's $85, which is cheaper than Show Z by a lot on that stuff. But you know, that puts it into that tempting range. You know, it's something I've always kind of been interested in on the side, but I don't go out of my way to buy it. So when it shows up on sale, if it shows up on sale for enough, it's when it might, you know, it's kind of sliding into my DMs a little bit.
What was that? Wait, what's the Takara Cliff Jumper that you're talking about?
Trailbreaker.
Oh, sorry, Trailbreaker. I Cliff
Hannah
Jumper
was talking
on
about Cliff Jumper.
Yeah,
I was talking
that's
about
what I was
Trailbreaker.
like. I thought you had sold him because you're like, oh, well, the Masterpiece Cliff Jumper is coming out at any time. I was like, yeah, we're still waiting on that
In theory, right? We've seen it.
Yeah, I thought he was saying that too, and I was like, oh, wow.
Maybe I did say it.
No, you didn't.
I meant Trailbreaker. Okay.
We just made the connection together.
No, right. That was.
I think I tricked us.
You know what? Now that I'm thinking about that Cliff Jumper, right?
Which one?
I wonder the Takara one, the one that we saw, right? I thought it was weird at the time that we saw like a prototype of a Masterpiece figure, because like it's very rare. Like, and I don't know if it's ever happened where you've actually seen a leaked, you know, one of Takara, right? Like normally they keep that pretty tight-lipped. I wonder if like they showed it off because like it's not going to happen.
I think the other tinfoil hat theory, which is probably not completely tinfoil, is that it's actually a knockoff maker that was getting it and trying to retool it into a Cliff Jumper. You know, that's because I don't know about almost all, but like a ton of Masterpiece stuff gets knockoffs. So obviously, you know, those molds aren't kept well, right? Or people can easily run them in the factory, right, with a little less QC, stuff like that. So it could have been like how we get the they call it the fourth party toys, you know, where it's a knockoff, but then they do more work to it to try to actually make it better. It could have been a case like that, and either they got cold feet or they decided it still sucked, or Takara found out about it and said nope, and managed to actually shut one of them down for once. Who knows, right? And until we see an announcement, we'll never know.
It's kind of a weird thing all around. So, but you know, Rob, if you're looking for a Bad Cube Huff, ages 3 and up has you covered.
Oh my God.
Yeah, right.
That's a throwback.
Like, I know. That's what I thought. The same thing. I was like sitting there looking on the page. I was like, oh wow. Like I almost kind of want it just to. Just because I used to love Bad Cube. I feel bad that they, you know, kind of closed up shop and whatever. Like back in the day, their mini bots were fun figures, but so
yeah, I had both versions of the Bad Cube Puff, or like the first one was when they called him Cubex, I think with the brand name they went under, and like he had a lot of paint chipping issues, but it's like I owned both of those. You know, and now I own the Fans Toys one. So, maybe one day a Takara will do one. I don't know.
If you're looking for some Make Toys stuff, you can get yourself a Meteor. You can get yourself a Cross Dimension Divine Shooter.
Is that the
So
Megatron?
Ooh.
no, that was the whatchamacallit, the Power Master Optimus Prime, and then they had the other, what was it, God
Gotcha.
Bomber. They had the God Bomber.
And this is at ages 3 and up. This third-party stuff is.
They also have a G2 X Trambots for $45 as well. That's a pretty good deal.
G2 who?
X Transbots, one of their Minosaur guys, Overheat.
Okay.
They have some real oddball stuff too. Like they have when MMC did the orange versions of Deathsaurus's little chest buddies, those are on their sale for a really big discount if you want the orange versions of those. I have them. They're pretty, but I don't know what you do with them. You put them in your Deathsaurus and make him look like he has an orange chest for some reason. That's fine. They're fun looking.
So yeah,
but yeah, they have a lot of weird old stuff on there. It's fun to look through, right? Like I'd say one good thing about the Black Friday sales on the third-party Transformer seller sites is you do see some of this old stuff you had kind of forgotten about. Sometimes it's even stuff that wasn't actually on the site before, and they just like dug up old stock and tossed it on there. Like every site is going to be trying to sell Fans Project Dino King, right? Like that already cropped up on TF Source yesterday or today, one or the other. Every site's going to have it. It's going to be like $200 to $250. It's there. It's old. No one wanted it when it was up before. No one wants it now. It's fine.
Rude.
How much of this Fans Project stock do they have? Because I feel like every Black Friday sale, it somehow crops up where there's like another thing of like some random Fans Project stuff that like is from like 5 years ago at least, if not longer. Although they're Grimlock, they're what is it, the yellow Grimlock? You can get that, I think, at TF Source, right, on sale.
Yeah. Half price about.
Yeah, I think that was only $60. I mean, that's a cool figure too, but again, like all of those Fans Project Dinobots were like a product of their time, you know, and like so they'd be really cool. Like I would like to get the original set was cool because it had like the little weaponizer guys.
Those were neat.
Yeah, and those were really cool too. And then like you could get the Grimlock with like he had a throne and all that kind of thing. Like it's kind of a neat like little fun set. But
yeah, I feel like it's just when those things got bought, the production runs and how much suppliers hadn't caught up with like the downfall of those brands and like that style of toy was on or whatever. And it's just it's like that weird like. I don't know, it's an interesting confluence of stuff because that's also like one of the last things Fans Project did, right? Like Dino King. So it's like it all happens at the same time, and then you just see it on clearance for 10 years, right? And who knows that like are they sitting on 100 of them they're trying to sell, or do they just have 3 that literally no one will buy? You know, like please. And it's like no one will buy it.
It's not like it's even a bad set. It's a cool set, and there aren't really that many options for Monster Dino King. So it's not like
not for Dino
theoretically King. Hasbro is going to be coming out with theirs, right?
And then I think I feel like there's another option for Monstructor out there, like somebody recolored something. I feel like, but maybe I imagined that. Got old man.
Fans Project made a Monstructor.
But that was from
right.
Yeah, I didn't know if it was something else though.
I don't think so.
Okay, I'm probably imagining it. Maybe I dreamt it.
I don't think there's another one. There's an amazing KO that I have.
I will say that TF Source does have the in stock on sale the very first third-party figure that I ever bought back in 2016, which was Fans Project Columpio.
Yay, Columbio. Sludge.
Is that Grimlock? Sludge.
Still
Okay.
Sludge.
Yeah, Sludge was the first one that they made or whatever. So,
Slumpy is cool. I like those Fans Project dinosaurs. They're neat.
I've thought about getting rid of mine several times. Like they're way tucked back in the corner and kind of like they're on top of the billies, because I didn't really have a spot on a shelf for them, and I don't know. I liked them enough. I like the partners they come with more than the toys themselves. Like the little weapons and dudes and like that stuff appeals to me, and like that's really what's made it harder to get rid of them because it's like, and so a lot of the toys are fine, but like Grimlock I thought was pretty bad. I remember not liking him at the time, but he's got the cool weapon thing. I like that.
Right.
Does have a cool weapon. And I like them. I like most of them quite a bit, but you can dig him up now. The one you can never find is Snarl. That's since he was the last one and came out, after the run was pretty much already dead.
So
he's a pain in the butt to find.
TF Source actually does have it in stock. It's not on sale though. So I think it's like some crazy like whatever the full price for Fans Project figures was, like $135 or something. Like it's like, no, that's all right. I'm good.
I'm fine.
That's my problem with it. Yeah, because I came into Fans Project after it was already clearance project, so everything that I paid half price for. So my experience of Fans Project is colored by the fact that it's been much cheaper than it originally was. If I'd paid those original prices, I probably would have some heavy buyer's remorse.
And then also, like, it just really taints the perception of value as a consumer as well, right? Because you're like, oh, no, that's like a $60 figure when it's like, well, it was actually $150 when it came out, and other figures coming out at $150, and you're like, oh no, you should be able to get that for $60. It's like, no, but it messes with you.
Right. Well, that's what like the
buyer's
Zeta,
remorse.
Like Zeta when they first released their combiners, right? Because like that was a thing where they had this big fight with who was it? Toy World? Was that the one? Who was it? Zeta originally? Yeah.
They split off from Toy World.
Yeah,
those designers.
Yeah. And then, so Toy World like kept the Devastator, right? Like mold or whatever, like that design. But then they split off and they did Superion and what was the other one? Was it Bruticus?
I think so. I never bought either of them, but yeah, I think so.
But yeah, like they like
and then they did Cell
ones,
and Moon Studio as well. Yeah.
But like all those figures were like pretty cheap if I remember correctly at the time. Like were they like $60 a piece or 70? It was something like that where it's like almost kind of killed the rest of the third party market because like everyone else is like, wait a minute, like why am I spending $100 and some odd for my figures when these are 60? And obviously the quality wasn't like it was pretty. Like the quality was fine, I guess. The QC was fine, but it was just like you could tell like they probably cut a couple corners here or there or whatever just to make that price point.
I mean, it was cheaper and you knew why once you had it in hand. It not like it was bad, but it's kind of like, other than except the recent Tarantulas from Transart. Transart figures have generally been a lot cheaper than the rest of the third party stuff. And once you got in hand, it's not bad, but you can tell. You're like, oh, this plastic isn't as thick, as you expect from most stuff. Like they still put in all the paint and they're still die cast and stuff, but you can tell. Again, other than Tarantulas, who just feels premium all the way through. But
so
it's Show Z being a Chinese store. I don't think they do sales, do they?
They did a sale about 2 weeks ago. They did an 11/11 sale where they had a decent amount of things on sale, and they gave all premium members free money type of deal. Like they were just trying to get upsells. I don't think they usually do a Black Friday sale now.
Yeah, that's right. Their big thing was the points stuff.
They might though, because since last year they started really having a presence on Discord. So they've been trying to do like different events on Discord. So they might do a Black Friday event on Discord just to get people to talk and do things. So I could see it happening. We have 48 hours for people to make up their minds on Black Friday sales. So
Unless it sells out before then, depending on what you're looking at, which happens.
yeah, it's
I was trying to
crazy that
figure
we're
out.
like,
Oh, sorry.
it's just crazy to me that we're talking about what's out there for Black Friday sales on Tuesday of Thanksgiving week, right? Like I was there back in the day when we used to camp out in tents in front of Circuit City and wait to get our cheap TVs, right? Like I was there for the actual Black Friday. Used to work Black Fridays.
So it used to be you'd have to show up at the store, right? And then like maybe you could get like the sell paper for what's coming out a little early, but then you started learning online. Okay, well here's what's going to be on sale for Black Friday, and now it's just no, they're just week-long sales until they run out of stock online. You know,
and they just casually show up online one day. Like I remember, even when I first started playing the Transformers game of third-party stuff, you'd be waiting till midnight on Thanksgiving night for the sales to go up, and I'd be like, goofied off Thursday evening, waiting to like go to physical Black Friday sales to sell, and then at midnight I'd be like, "Ooh, it's Transformers time." I do Transformers, and we were still waiting for Target to open, whatever. And now it's just like, oh well, Monday of Black Friday week, some sales are up, other things pop up during the week, whatever. It's a much more casual experience than it used to be.
Well, I feel like part of that is a lot of people shift to online buying versus like in the store. And I think the thing that kind of killed it for a lot of the retailers is everyone kept trying to go earlier and earlier till they just started doing it on Thursday. And then it's like, oh, like, whatever Target and Walmart are opening at, whatever 6 o'clock on Thanksgiving, or they're doing the Black Friday at like whatever time on Thanksgiving, and then everyone's like, wait a minute, like this sucks. Like as much as no one cares about the retail workers, like they're like, oh, like all these retail workers have to work on Thursday so that we can get all this crap.
Yeah, it's just bad news bears. I mean, the death of Black Friday as a physical, like in-person event, I'm totally fine with. Like, I think I get like people, if you were ever really into it, and I never was, like I can get it. You have nostalgia about going because of the event, right? Like I know some people get that way about video game events. Like they talk about, oh, when World of Warcraft dropped, or like its first expansion dropped, we were there at the gaming store lined up at night,
Right.
Midnight so that we could all buy it together. And I get that like community event stuff and missing that, but like that also can be replaced by other conventions and get-togethers. And this is just literally just blatant consumerism. Like I would rather people be at home with their families anytime. And not to mention in some places just got dumb with, people getting hurt, or
Right.
just dumb crap. And now it's all gone. I'm fine with
way
it.
back in the day.
Yeah.
Not that far back.
Right.
You've seen those videos, like some of those are not that old, of people just storming inside and people get trampled, and it's just over stuff, over junk.
Right.
I remember dealing with it. Working retail in high school.
Yeah.
Oh, you have PTSD on it. You've seen some shit.
Yeah, so I joined the Horde. So after I did the retail work, I joined the Black Friday Horde and started actually doing the sales. I don't know. Doesn't really make any sense when I look back on it. I think I joined my enemies.
My favorite thing about Black Friday was when people would like waltz in at like a normal time and then get mad that like whatever was in the ad for Black Friday was like gone. You're like, they'd be like, wait a minute, like the Game Boy's like not here anymore. And you're like, yeah, dude, like we had a stack of them at 6 a.m. Like it's 10 a.m. now. Like, it's sold out 3 hours or, whatever, 4 hours ago. Like you got to be up for that. But yeah,
those are doorbuster sales.
Right.
That means you have to get in. You have to get in the door when it opens, when it busts open. Yeah.
Right. So
basically, you snooze, you lose, right? Don't be snoozing.
Right, absolutely.
It is fun to see a return of one thing from old Black Friday, which was the we already talked about it, but it was the what do you call the plastic wrap? The plastic wrap
Shrink
together
wrap.
figures. Yeah, shrink wrap. There you go. Shrink wrap together figures where it's like suddenly it's a 2-pack and now it's on sale. They used to do for Black Friday all the time at Walmart, and now those are
Yeah.
back in the deluxes that are 2 for 1 price.
Yeah.
So it's amusing to see that again because it's nostalgic. It's like I remember buying all my power core combiners like this because I did. I bought a whole bunch of them because they were really expensive, and then suddenly they were Black Friday sale. Then they were amusing for that price. Now you can have your cellophane. That's the word I was trying to think of. You have your cellophane together deluxes. The most of us aren't buying because we already own at least half the pack. But hey.
Just there's always that person that says, "Ha, I knew I was right to not buy that at full price." It's like, yeah, but you missed on like 90% of the stuff you were interested in buying because so little, and trying to predict that stuff is just you just got to what is it called? The bias. Just like it worked out in your favor, so.
Oh yeah, use confirmation bias. Your
confirmation bias. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah. Please, Professor, tell us the word. We're trying to think of like what's this called?
Hey Lucas, last time there was a Hasbro sale, you bought a Light Bright too, didn't you?
Yeah, you know what's funny is that Light Bright.
Yours is just as put together as mine is.
Absolutely. Maybe we'll do that. You know what?
Yeah,
I took some time
mine looks
off.
great in its cardboard box.
I'm taking some time off in December. My kids are going to be off. I think that I'm going to put that on the list of things to not do.
Yeah, maybe I should do it. Yeah, maybe I should do it while we're decorating for Christmas. Like, it would be kind of cool to put it up with the Christmas lights, right? Like, it's like a Christmas light, only it's Optimus Prime's head or whatever.
Oh, that'd be perfect. I'm going to tell my wife that.
It really would.
Say, hey, so I can't help out with putting the lights up because I always have to have an excuse not to put the lights up. I'm sorry, I got to put this Light Bright together that I've had for like a year.
Have your Autobot symbol.
What is this Light Bright? I mean, is it not Light Brights are just you put the lights on and draw whatever you want with it, right?
They did the Transformers Light Bright, right? They did the special, like it's an adult Light Bright that's made to be wall art. So it's it's much smaller, right? The original Light Bright was like a CRT TV looking thing, and this one is like a nice flat model with just like these little pegs you stick into this nice flat thing, and it's made to be hung on the wall as a piece of art.
Okay.
And you can charge the battery to keep it going. So it's a fancy thing. Christian has a few of them. He has this like nice Transformers decor going, and they work really well in his decor. Lucas and I don't open the thing too high, so we can't do it. Yeah. I think it's really cool. It was pretty expensive when it came out, right? It was like $100, and then they relisted it for like half of that, and then put it on their 35% off sale.
Yes,
and that's when we bought it. The last one.
That was last year that I was like, oh, I will take this for $35. Sure, why not? Like so.
Me too. Woo! It's so cool. It looks so great on my floor.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
But the point I was trying to make with that little joke story is just like, if you didn't want something before, just because it's on sale now, you probably still don't want it. Like the Ollie sales have been really bad for bad and good, right? Like I've had fun going to them. I picked up a few things that I realized in hindsight I shouldn't have skipped. Like I should have just gone ahead and got Red Bumblebee in the first place instead of waiting for him to hit Ollie's, because I told myself he's kind of weird looking. He's too big. Whatever. He's Bumblebee. I love Bumblebee, and he's posable and he's smiling. So I love him. Whatever. But then I also bought freaking Override, and like there was a reason I didn't buy this toy, right? Like it wasn't just because I had the MMC one. It was because I saw pictures and something in me said, I don't like that. And now that I have it, it's like, oh, it's a girl figure I skipped. And everybody else said it's good. And then I got it home and I'm like, oh my goodness, I don't like this at all. Ugh.
I like her.
And
I don't know.
It's grown on me a little bit. Like I just had to keep telling myself, like,
But you'd be
it
fine
doesn't have
without
to
it.
be that good.
Right.
But like now that I can look back at it and be like, this is a $10 figure, where other people are like, if it's a $35 figure, I'm okay with it for the $10. The $35 I would not have been okay with. So, you know, you got to trust your gut sometimes. Like I've been saying that a lot with the Death Source pictures coming out, because like the Death Source pictures, like everything they've done, the video, the pictures, everything, it just looks gorgeous. Like I really cannot wait to have that thing as a possession. But then when I saw the pictures of Star Saber, when they were showing it off for the HasLab, I didn't like it from first sight. You know, I was like, oh, Star Saber is a cool character. I'm glad he's getting a toy. Ooh, why does it look bad? And then I went ahead and got it, and I still don't like it. Sometimes you just got to trust your gut on these things and not second guess yourself. It's like, I knew I wouldn't like the Star Saber. I knew I was going to like the Dinosaurs.
On the plus side, I'm sure you can sell that Star Saber and, probably profit, I would assume.
Especially right after Dinosaurs comes out. I'm sure people are going to be like, I missed that Star Saber, but now I got Dinosaurs. You need somebody to kick. And so they'll buy mine maybe, because that figure is so bad. But yeah, trusting your gut is good. So if you skip something because it was too expensive and now it's on sale, then yeah, hell, go for it, whatever. Or if you skip something because it was like mediocre and now it's like $10, whatever. But if you didn't like it before, the price will not make you like it.
Yeah, we had, I think, 3 Star Saber sets at TFcon, and they sold within a few hours. All of them. I think it was like 2 were sealed, and then one of them was opened. And yeah, they all sold very quickly, easily.
Yeah, it's still high demand for sure, and it'll always be because it's limited. Any limited run stuff like that's always going to be high demand as it switches hands between the 50,000 of us, or ever how many there are. Crazy
Don't we all wish we had
fans.
bought like 5 Unicrons, right? 10 Unicrons, sell them for $1,900 each. Oh my God,
can you imagine the amount of space that would take up, like in your house, if you had 5 Unicrons or whatever?
And you just put them in a corner, man. You leave them boxed because you're just there to resell them.
You use them as furniture or something like that. So
they're your coffee tables. Put them together.
Paul do that? I think he bought like.
He definitely bought
a few. Yeah. I think he got too eager and sold them early though. I think he sat on quite till now. But gosh, you sell 10 Unicrons right now, you could like make a down payment on a car.
Yep.
The joke was it would be like $15,000, $20,000, and I want to say down payment on a house, but not these days.
Not these days.
Not these days. Back when I bought my house, yep.
Costs.
Not these days though.
Yeah. Anybody got any homes on Black Friday sale?
Right. Here you go.
Black Friday's on my house for only 5% more than my asking price. Yeah, there'll be more sales. Like, they're not all up yet. There's definitely more sites that'll put up Black Friday sales.
Right. Like, Chosen Prime hasn't put their sale up yet, and they usually always do it. But I do feel like they normally, it is kind of like a Black Friday, or like at least Thursday. It's like one of those things where it's like, all right, we're closing up shop, like, gonna do Thanksgiving, here you go. Like now we'll actually put up all the sales, but nothing's actually going to get fulfilled till next week because we're not crazy.
I think Entertainment Earth is like that too. I think they do theirs actually on Friday. And the only time I ever shop that site is Black Friday, right? Like I never go to Entertainment Earth throughout the entire year, but I always go there for Black Friday because they have crazy good sales most of the time.
Yeah, I feel like Entertainment Earth is not a site. I don't know. For whatever reason, I just don't really like buying from them. And I think part of it is, like, I don't know if do you have to pay shipping, or, like, is there something, like, I thought there was something weird with shipping, maybe.
Maybe they have a free shipping threshold. I really don't remember.
I can't remember.
It feels like buying, like, that they're like a warehouse, like they're a supplier, or, like, like I would buy them in bulk from there to then sell at my store. Right. not that I would buy as an end consumer, but I have bought a few things from there because it turns out they're priced at consumer prices, you know, but it gives that vibe. So yeah, I never think to check there. It would have to show up in like a Google shopping result for me to end up there and buy it,
Right.
you know, or, you know, something that's just sold out everywhere and for some reason they still have it, you know, and then I'll pick it up there or something. But yeah, I think I've bought like 3 things there ever.
I think they already have some of their sales going now that I look. Like, it's not listed as a Black Friday sale, but they definitely have some things for cheaper prices.
You just have to wait till Black Friday, I guess, right? Not everyone has their pre-Black Friday sales. So, yeah. And I don't know, like, if, like, do we know it's Target or Walmart? I haven't even looked at their sales to see if they had any Transformers stuff. I know Target's been, they've been doing, like, a whatever X% off toys, like, stacking coupon stuff. I know we kind of talked about that a couple weeks ago, so.
Yeah, I think they're back to full price right now. They might go down. Like, I'm sure they'll have something on sale on Black Friday, Transformers, just because it's such a popular brand. I haven't looked at Walmart. I haven't looked at the traditional stores. It's funny. I'm shopping for a Christmas tree. That's the only thing I've really looked at so far.
You need a Transformers Christmas tree somehow.
Like I think
I do.
so much of the hobby is third party these days too. I think it kind of makes it where you just don't think about Walmart and Target necessarily off the bat,
Yeah.
right? But like, you know, we think of Hasbro Pulse at least, but who also obviously doesn't have third party stuff, but I think that makes it harder to think about, you know. We think of our specialty stores as having what we're more likely going to want, I guess.
Yeah, I don't usually bargain hunt for the Hasbro stuff, right? I bargain hunt for the third party stuff. Like one, I can't remember what site it was that had the MMC Star Convoy on sale for back down to just over a little over $100, and I was like, you know, I might finally get that because it's a cool toy. I've kind of halfway wanted it for years. I'm sure I'll enjoy it.
Yeah, I'm really happy they made that. It's probably the worst quality thing MMC has done since their very first figure. You know, but like it was really cheap, even honestly when it came out. You know, it was priced super well. So like, you know, I feel like that's probably the only way they felt they could do it, right? And actually like have enough people buy it was by making it cheaper. I wish if they kept doing more, I would have kept buying from that like little subline or whatever it was. But alas.
Sorry, which figure are we talking about?
They did a Star Convoy. They did Stellar's Chromium.
Oh yeah.
But they didn't do a Super Megatron to go with it, so you can just have your little Hasbro Super Megatron, which is a really cool toy. Don't get me wrong; it's just
I'm really glad
tiny guy fighting your big.
Yeah, they just don't go together.
Yeah, me too. They don't go together at all. And the actual
beggars must be choosers, I guess.
Yeah, there'll be some oddball stuff out there that'll be for sale. If you join the TF Talk Discord, one of our members posts every sale the moment he sees it. And we usually are able to make it to even things to sell out pretty quickly because he's so good about posting.
Wow.
So it's a good reason to join. So you end up spending more money. I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, really.
I mean, that's all this hobby is, right? Or at least not all of it, but it's a large part of it is just, hey, where can I spend some more money? So
yeah, he helped me get a PS5 in the first year it was out. So
oh wow.
Like the first few months it was out, really.
So it's more than just Transformers.
Yes, he's definitely just
he's legit
good at catching things for limited sales when they come up. So
I was also going to mention if you join the TF Talk Discord, you can also join you guys for book club, right? And that is Sunday night at 8:30 Central, 9:30 Eastern. And I guess you guys are doing the new the IDW their last gasp thing, right? What do we call
Yes,
it?
we're
Third
reading the
series.
IDW reboot universe that
Yeah.
everyone loves. And if you join us, you get to hear the biggest fan ever of that comic run talk very happy about it. Catherine's so excited to be getting to share that comic series with her friends because she adores it.
Was there like
And
a humble
I
bundle for
honestly,
that?
yes, there was. There was a humble bundle for it, and I have
For the
it.
whole. Oh, okay.
It wasn't all of it. It was a good chunk.
Yeah,
It
see,
was a
that's
good
what
chunk.
I
I think it
need
was
them
like
to
halfway through the
do.
run.
A Black Friday humble bundle for the whole run of it. I don't even know. Like, does IDW even have the rights to like do a
I
humble
don't think
bundle?
that's gonna work. Yeah, I don't think they do at this point.
Because like I
I
wouldn't
don't think they
mind if they
can.
did. Because I would totally buy that whole series. Like if they did, because I've done a couple of the humble bundles. And I don't know. I feel like I've bought the IDW versions of the comics in like I don't know, hardcover and trade paperback and individual comics and the humble bundles and digital versions and whatever, like many times over on a lot of those. But then I didn't end up buying all of that last run because, as we mentioned, I was not a huge fan of it. But I kind of would like just to have it, because I have pretty much all the rest of the IDW crap.
Yeah, you need that digital collection to not look at.
Right.
It's just
exactly.
incomplete.
So.
Trying to save you some money.
I guess Aldron says it's called
There's no saving us.
IDW2, so I don't know.
I think that's the better name for it. Some people try to call it 3 because there was the part 1 and part 2 of the original IDW, but I think calling it IDW 2.0 makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, if you try to separate up the original continuity, like I see that as probably like 3 to 4 phases, of that. So like
right.
1 and 2 doesn't even fit to me on that.
Yeah, I think the book split it into 3 phases, which is
Oh, did they? When
fine,
they made
So did
trades
they
out of
actually
it?
complete the hardcover books, like the whole run of the last phase?
Of the new
the new one.
Of the reboot universe. I knew the answer to that question like a week ago and I forgot it. I think they did.
I have to look at that. That'd be somewhat disappointing because like they never actually finished the second run, or whatever. So they had phase 1, right? They had phase 2, and like they never actually finished all the hardcovers of phase 2. I don't think Lost Light got all the hardcovers, if I remember correctly.
Mm.
So that'd be a little disappointing if they like did the new one and they never finished up the Lost Light. But yeah,
That would be
I
lame.
guess Alderon's saying phase 3 was never complete. So yeah. Oh, okay. So he's saying IDW 2 was only available in hardcover. Okay, so when I say phase, I can't remember. Was phase 3 still the original run, but it was
that should be phase 3.
Phase
3 should be the end of Lost Light and then the Unicron bullshit.
Yeah, and it was not complete. But then I guess IDW 2 was complete. Is that right?
I think it did.
Why? I don't understand why they never.
It was so much
that.
better. That reboot was such a better universe than the old one. I could defend that comic until I'm blue in the face.
Don't do
I
that.
can't wait to defend the new comic next time.
So
we gotta do a show on the next issue of the new comic. We gotta do a show on issue 3. I was disappointed you guys didn't talk about issue 2 enough. Of the new comic.
Right, but like
on the episode where you talked about it very barely. You didn't even make Christian cringe.
Look,
he was barely even bothered.
He was the only person there to talk about it, and he just just didn't care.
Right.
Yeah. I had to do this like thing I do where I work that night. I couldn't be here.
Sounds like a poor choice.
I'll try to be here for issue 3 though, so I can make us talk about it, and I will make sure to talk incessantly about any G.I. Joe characters that show up.
He'll just leave. He'll just drop the call.
He'll just leave again. Yeah. Yeah. He'll just show us his professionalism and just leave during the call.
Oh, was there a G.I. Joe tie-in on the second one? Is
In the second issue, yes.
That Duke fella he's G.I. Joe?
Could be. Could be.
Spoiler.
Yeah, I didn't know. So
It's so funny.
but anyway.
I think we talked about cells enough. Good luck finding the things you want. I hope whatever you're hoping goes in cell goes in cell.
So, yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, thank you guys for joining me tonight, and thank you for everyone in the chat that weighed in. So, and good luck with your Black Friday shopping, and hopefully everyone is well fed over the holidays. So, all right.
Start on food, end on food.
See you guys next week.